Testing, testing. Is this working? Alright, well, it seems like it is. So, welcome to my, kind of video thing here. It's kind of like an extension on my other video about the timeline and how it may work. But since then, I have been seeing many different things and a lot of different translations of things from the Hyrule Historia Book and how these things may work and other people's opinions. And so now this time, I'm not here to explain which it is, but how many there are and how many there could be, so that you guys can debate that yourself. So right now, we have the main timeline to begin with at the beginning, Ocarina of Time, and then we have 3 splits. So this is established. Now, there's a lot of many ways people think that it could split off here. So most people know that it could easily split with the whole 2 timelines, and a lot of people don't understand where the third comes from. So there's a lot of different ways that this can, that people think this could happen. A lot of people are thinking that Nintendo just did this as like a what if scenario. So here's one option, the what if. Okay, so some people get angry at this because, well, I personally do kind of get angry at it. Not really angry, just disappointed at like a what if scenario, because it just happens, like, it's hypothetical, so anything could be hypothetical in theory, which is why it makes me angry. It's not set in stone, it's just like a what if. Another one was reason 1 from Ocarina of Time, which I'll go over in a second, and reason 2. So, first of all, we're not going to focus on the what if. We're going to focus on reason 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new page here. Alright, so with reason 1 is the reason that I stated in my previous video, which I will, I'll put a link to it in the description, which I don't necessarily believe every single thing that I've said in the past video, but I will discuss it if you want. But so it states that you start here. This is going to horizontal timeline now. This is just Ocarina of Time. It starts here, beginning of your adventure, and you go to the right, you do stuff, you get the 3 stones, and you go to the Temple of Time here. And so then you go into the future, which is up here. 7 years, or here is the distance. You go into the future, and you do the first couple of temples in here, like the Forest Temple and stuff. And then you leave this future, you go back, and you continue where this was, and you get the Lens of Truth. So once you get the Lens of Truth, you can continue. We're just going to call this point A in the story, which exists on all timelines, but you can't pass point A unless you have the Lens of Truth, which I explained in my past video, so go ahead and watch that and come back if you want, or if you already understand. Then you don't have to. So, point A, where you've done the Lens of Truth. And so here you go, you continue like this on the main timeline after you go back, and you travel to the future again here after you get the Lens of Truth, and you do the rest of the temples. You fight Ganondorf, and when you win, Zelda sends you back to your timeline, your cave timeline, and here's timeline 1. And then the timeline that was left is timeline 2, which splits directly off this, timeline 2. So that's how 2 timelines are established. And my first theory on how the third one was established is when you leave the future to get the Lens of Truth, that future you leave is the third timeline, because you never go back to that future. You go back to a different future with the knowledge and all the things that you've done in the past with the Lens of Truth, which is right here. So that's how I think there are 3 timelines. Well, that's how I originally thought there were 3 timelines, and I still kind of do, but I'm not sure. This is all up for debate. Let me just create a new page here. Now, theory 2 that I've seen is, so you start here at the beginning of the game again. You go forward. You do everything just like normal, without having to worry about the entire Lens of Truth thing. You go to the future. You go to battle Ganondorf at the end after doing the entire game over here. And so Zelda sends you back in time to an alternate past. So this is the past that you originally started the game with, right there. And here's the future that you left. So this alternate past is a past she sends you back because you have knowledge of the future. So she doesn't want to send you back to the original past you came from at risk of like messing with like the timeline or something like that. That's what I've heard. And so here you have the one you left in the future become timeline 1. And here's the timeline that you had originally, timeline 2, which is the Link is defeated timeline. Then you have the third one, which is 1 and 3 are the ones everybody believes in, and then the second one is the third split. So that's another place where the third split could come from. Once again, if you don't understand what I'm saying, because I understand I really do kind of explain things in an odd way, feel free to comment and I will discuss openly about pretty much everything. And I won't just put everybody down about their opinions and stuff. I'll actually see what people have to say and learn from it. And so those are the two reasons for the split timelines that I've heard that actually are legitimate, that sound legitimate. Now the what if timeline pretty much just states that here's the main timeline of Zelda, you go from the future, and then Zelda sends you to the past, and then this is the one you stay, this is the one you left. You left this is the one you go to, so it creates the two timelines. And the third timeline just kind of like springs up out of here as like, what if Ganon killed Link in the final battle? This would happen. So that's pretty much what Nintendo is saying. So, what if Link is dead? It actually says, what if Link is defeated? Now, this is important. Defeated, okay? Right here. Creates timeline. It's going to have timeline 3. This is timeline 1. This is timeline 2. Now, we're going to discuss what this defeated thing means. So, this is kind of a touchy subject with a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people discuss this, like defeat. The definition of defeat, let's look that up really quick, shall we? So, define defeat. To win a victory over someone in a battle or contest, to overcome or to beat. So, that is, yeah. It just pretty much means that somebody else wins. It does not necessarily mean that somebody was killed, which means Link might not necessarily be dead. Or he might. The point is, Ganon won. So, also, it was a translation from Glitterberry, which is a site that does a lot of things. But they are currently translating the Hyrule Historia Book. And so, since it's a translation from like a fan or from a person at Glitterberry, not a direct translation from Nintendo, you cannot say it's 100% canon right now. Because for one, words in other languages don't necessarily have, they might have the same meaning as they do in English, but they might also have multiple meanings. And for an example of that, which is actually kind of, this word has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but it's an example to let you know that I know for sure some of the words mean other things. So, let's look at the word assassin. Alright, assassin, right? It just means like a hitman, pretty much, a hitman. Person that goes out and kills somebody else for whatever reason that it may be. Now, in Lebanese Arabic, I know 100% that the word is hashash, which I don't know how to spell here in English, so we're just going to say that's hashash. Which they use the word hashash for both assassin and drugs. Yes, drugs. They use the same word for both assassin and drugs, which actually, it makes sense from based on their origins. Here it makes like, you think, oh, it doesn't make any sense. But the words, the reason they use the same word is because during the Crusades, they weren't the assassins from Persia. They weren't actually called assassins. Assassin was from the Arabic word like ashashin, which meant, which is what the competitors, which were like the English in the Crusades, used as a derogatory term for their enemies, which meant users of hashish, and hashish is something that most people know as like marijuana, which is like, you know, weed, like a drug. So that's where the word in Arabic of assassin comes from, is hashash. That's why it translates into assassin and drugs. So in this case, is one instance where a word in English may have two completely different meanings in another language. So these two words by themselves, drugs and assassin, are completely unrelated. They have nothing, they have no connection whatsoever. So when somebody translates a book like Hyrule Historia and the word from Japanese is directly defeated, we can't be 100% sure that they meant exactly the same exact definition of what's in English. So to them, defeated could be like anything exactly, you know, because they have multiple words for it. So it also could be a mistranslation on their part, because that has happened quite a bit. Not necessarily in this book, because they're usually pretty good, but statements from Nintendo and things like that have been mistranslated before. The point is, unless or until we get the direct translation book back from Nintendo that states, in this case, what defeat actually means, because even in English, using defeat doesn't exactly specify on the way that Ganon won. So that is, until we have proof on all of these things, the timeline is going to be completely speculated, maybe even more than it was before Nintendo released their Hyrule Historia book with the new timeline. So this is pretty much my very first like draw along video, which is pretty much like writing along, but it's also drawing along. This draw along video is kind of, I thought maybe if I do this, it might get people like more into it, and it'd be a lot easier for me to explain things because people can look at visuals rather than they have to think of it in their mind. So really, if you watch this video and you understand exactly what I'm saying, then even if you don't understand, thank you for watching, and appreciate it. And now I realize that I say a lot. So if you want to see my other video, I'll put a link in the description. And if you like this video, then please subscribe if you want to see more. If you totally agree, well, it's not even a debate, so if you want to debate about what I said, or if you want to talk to me about timelines, comment in the video, personal message me, whatever you want. So thanks for watching, and see you soon.